No peace! Oh, justice! No peace! Oh, justice! No peace! Oh, justice! No peace!
Winnipeg, Manitoba, heart of the continent. A city that's run by the rich and built by the poor. A city with a justice system that is run solely by the views of society.
We know that along the highway that has unfortunately now been called the Highway of Tears, there are hundreds of women who've gone missing. We know that there are hundreds of women who've gone missing across the country. The Prime Minister has refused a Royal Commission. Why not a parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker?
We have the highest percentage of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in the city than there is across Canada.
The system is failing.
When the thought from the international community that Canada could have an issue such as 600 missing and murdered Aboriginal women and girls was unfathomable.
We're not gonna quit.
No!
We're just gonna keep on moving until we get results.
That we really need to look at our attitudes towards Aboriginal women and why this is such an epidemic.
If you're out there, please, just come home. I could still feel you. You're not gone. Not from me yet. I know you're out there. Please come home. Where is Jennifer Lee Cataway? Where's Caroline Sinclair? Where is Amber Devos? Sonny Nishina!
Where's Rob Taylor? Where's Millie Platt?
Where's Corey Williams?
Cherise Houle?
It's a beautiful day on the streets of Winnipeg. You wouldn't realize it, but many of the missing Aboriginal women and girls go missing from these very streets.
In Manitoba, there is 80 missing women right now, all Aboriginal. In Canada, there's over 1,500 missing Aboriginal women.
Think about that. There are over 1,500 missing Aboriginal women in Canada. But why are these women going missing?
I think there are a number of reasons. One of them is that our women and girls are vulnerable to predators and people that would have little regard for human life and for Indigenous people in general. So some girls, and I can speak from experience because I came from a reserve to the city, we're not street smart. When we first get here, we're very trusting. I was very naive, so I believed what everybody said and how everyone, I believed everyone had good intentions. But as we know, that's not always the case. So the vulnerability of some women and girls gets them into trouble and puts them in compromising situations where they are facing danger, and sometimes they may not even know it. And then sometimes, social problems that we all hear about that we can all link to many different areas like residential schools or just poverty itself. Some women and girls end up in sad situations where they're facing addiction. So that also makes them vulnerable when they're feeding addictions or they're being bound by them. And then the other reason I believe that we don't talk much about is the Johns and the pedophiles themselves. It seems like there is a open target or market on Aboriginal people, First Nations women and girls, where they think that we're disposable. So they feel free and feel little threat by the police or the law to go ahead and take a girl off the streets and do whatever they want with her.
But with a society that is filled with discrimination and little compassion, it is no wonder these cases get little attention.
They think that First Nations girls are disposable. They think that no one will come and try and figure out their murders because no one really cares. And they think that they don't have families that love them. They think that no one is smart enough to come and find them. And so they use them like disposable wrappers, you know, like just garbage. And that's evidenced by what Sean Lamb did with the 3 alleged that he did to the 3 girls. And that's an example of the attitude.
Sean Lamb, an alleged serial killer in the murders of Caroline Sinclair, Lorna Blacksmith, and Tanya Neepanak.
My name is Jasmine, and I'm 11 years old today, and my mom's name is Tanya Neepanak. When I found out, I was crying a lot. It's hard to believe that my mom went missing and then murdered. I still don't, it's hard to believe for me. I still can't believe it, what happened.
This is the harsh reality for many of the families of the victims. They are endlessly searching for their loved ones, and they never stop looking.
I have a sister who's missing, Claudette Osborne. She's been missing since July 24th, 2008.
And her dad and I, it's going to be 5 years in June, and we've looked and we searched for her. We're out there, and but you know what? I believe in God, and I believe in prayer, that prayer is powerful, and I believe that soon and very soon we're going to get an answer. We're going to bring Jennifer home.
This is Shannon Buck. Her daughter was abducted by Sean Lamb, October 6, 2011.
My youngest daughter was a victim of sexual exploitation, was a victim of, she was sexually assaulted by Sean Lamb. You're never not looking for them. And sometimes it will be like, my daughter has really long hair, and so every girl that I saw on the street that had long hair, it was like, there she is, right? And I remember walking through Portage Place once, and there was a girl sitting at this counter in the food court, and I only saw her from the back, and I thought it was my daughter. And I went walking up to her and just, having that anxiety but excitement at the same time, and then the girl turned her head and it wasn't her. And it was like your heart just fell. And it's, you're always, part of me was always looking for her, and part of me was always, worrying that, there's going to be that phone call that comes and you're going to have found her, but she's going to be gone. She's going to have been murdered. And it's incredibly painful. And it doesn't matter what race you are. A mother will never ever stop looking for their children.
Our message to Parliament today is enough is enough. No other woman, no other Aboriginal woman should go missing or be murdered in Canada. Mr. Speaker, Aboriginal women in this country in 2013 are 5 to 7 times more likely to die from violence than any other woman. What is wrong with this story? What is wrong with this picture? What are people doing wrong? Where is the federal government? And why is the federal government not listening to the voices of the families of those that have lost their sisters, their daughters, their mothers, their friends? To the voices of Aboriginal organizations, such as the Native Women's Association, such as the Assembly of First Nations, to Aboriginal leaders, such as chiefs, grand chiefs, the national chief, to civil society, organizations like Human Rights Watch, from the United States that came out and spent time in northern British Columbia and sat down with women that were abused and sat down with families of women that were taken away. And why is this federal government, this conservative federal government, unwilling to listen to all of these voices and unwilling to call a national public inquiry into missing and murdered Aboriginal women?
The system is failing. I don't necessarily think many of the people within the system, like, I think a lot of police officers are doing what they can do, you know? I mean, you hear stories about police officers who have, like, say, ignored the families, or, you know, just families who have had bad experiences, but you also hear stories about families who have had good experiences, and, you know, you hear about police officers who are working really, really hard, but within the system that they're working under now, I think clearly something needs to change. So that's kind of a double-edged sword, is that, you know, you've got these people working, but they're working under the system that has all of these rules and regulations, and, you know, it's a broken system. So they're doing what they can do. Well, most of them, I would assume, are doing what they can do under the system, but clearly it's failing.
I think it is evident when we see missing and murdered women's families. I had the opportunity to interview both a non-First Nation and a First Nation family whose daughters were missing within the same 2 weeks in Portage la Prairie. And I asked the First Nation's mother what police's response to her when she reported her daughter missing, and she said that the police told her that she's probably out partying, that she'll be back in a week. And then I asked the non-First Nations mother, and she said, oh, the police were beautiful. They took my daughter's picture, and they sent out a release right away that my daughter is missing, and I can't say enough about them. They've just been fabulous. So 2 different reactions from 2 different moms in the same situation. And the worst part was the non-First Nation girl, who didn't deserve to go missing or being killed, obviously. But she went missing from a beer vendor, and she didn't get that same reaction that the First Nations mother got. So there is discrimination, unfortunately, and that has to change. Not everyone. I know there's a lot of good police officers out there, but in general, I think there is an attitude shift that needs to happen, and not with just police, but also with society.
And today, as a people, we are united here in solidarity. You know, the answers here, I have no idea. But I do know one thing I do, and I'm going to keep saying this. This Harper government, this conservative government, we have a banner up here that says Harper's last stand, stop genocide. In this country, genocide continues. When they do not investigate the murders of our people, they weaken our nations, they weaken our tribes, and we cannot allow that to continue. All of us as warriors, men and women, elders, children, everybody needs to speak up and educate everyone around us.
No justice! No peace!